Listener discretion is advised.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. So today we have my good friend Andy.
Woo!
Hey Andy.
Hello, I'm glad to be here.
Excellent.
And
And me, Michelle.
yeah, I'm sorry, Michelle. Michelle's here
Yeah.
still.
Fuck you already, Caitlin. I see.
Sorry. Michelle's here as well. And
We have this other bitch here. I can't think of her name. She's always here.
yeah, she is. But she always makes the drinks, which what we have, Andy, what did you suggest?
Pomelo.
Paloma.
Paloma, fuck. We literally,
This is...
Okay, so backtrack.
Okay,
Before
okay.
we started this, I said it was a Paloma.
Yeah.
And then we started second guessing ourselves. And what did I just say? I don't even know
Oh,
what
no.
I just said.
No, close.
Pomelo.
It was almost as good as what you said.
Palomo.
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 Anyways, it's a Paloma.
Paloma.
Yes.
It's all my fault because I second guessed the whole thing.
What's in it, Michelle?
So, we did the traditional version according to this
One
article I read,
Okay.
which is grapefruit soda rather than grapefruit juice. So
Yes.
it's tequila, which we've had a decent amount of thus
Right.
far. Fresh lime juice,
Yes.
which we've had also a decent amount. We put what? About one
Lime,
lime per
yeah.
drink. And then just grapefruit juice or
grapefruit
oh my
soda.
God, grapefruit soda.
Yeah.
We were supposed to
Salt
put
the
salt
rim.
on the rim. Thank you, Caitlin. Good God. This is going to be an interesting episode.
But we did not. So it's
No.
fine. It's still really good, though.
No, it's mighty tasty, and
Yeah.
we've had a lot of them. So, Andy, I hear you have a number of activities that you do.
Yes.
I'm bringing up the band and your podcast. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
your band about?
So I'm in 2 bands currently.
2 bands? What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
one, you were just like, this is just not satisfying enough. I gotta branch out and hit another band. Or were your talents in such high demand that you got recruited by a second band?
Well, that's happened to me, but so
Yeah.
for this, it's more just like one is my band, and we're called Sadgasm.
Sadgasm? I
And-
never wanted... Actually, I think I've had a sadgasm before, and it was upsetting.
Yeah, they usually are.
Okay.
And that's just one that I made with my friends, and it kind of started as just a band for. One of my other bands broke up, but I had already booked shows for the summer, so I needed to make like a really quick band.
Come on, guys, let's put together some
Yeah.
sadgasms.
And, yeah, and it was, and I'm really good friends with everyone in that band, and then we ended up just liking it so much we just stuck with it. And then my other
Cool.
project is Postrich Bear, and that's my solo project.
Oh, okay.
So I record everything, and that's my project that I write too much music, and I need some kind of outlet for it, so I don't implode.
Oh.
And yeah.
So do you play an instrument? Are you, like, what is your role in these bands?
So in Sadgasm, I sing and play guitar, and I write the songs, and I also record the music. And then in Postrich Bear, I do everything except for the trumpet.
Oh, who does the trumpet?
Matthew Mishke, my cousin.
Oh,
Shout out.
thank you,
Oh, that's your
Matthew.
cousin?
Yeah.
Oh, I did
Second
not know
cousin.
That. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I also have another podcast called Begin Reconstruction that I do with my friend Joey, and that
Is it Begin Reconstruction?
Begin Reconstruction.
I thought he said vegan.
Oh,
Oh, you guys
No.
That would
vegan?
explain why I couldn't find it.
Okay, yeah.
There's probably something else called that.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. No, yeah. Begin Reconstruction. And that's like a political, historical podcast where if you want to hear us rant about current issues and with historical context, that's the place to do it.
Oh,
So do you
that's
have a
interesting.
particular episode that you're like super proud of that if we were going to go listen, we should listen to one episode? Which episode would it be?
Personally, I would say go listen to like the 4-hour Russian Revolution 100-year anniversary we did.
I feel that's unlikely.
but for the more avid listener, we usually like actually our most recent one that we're gonna put out, I was really proud of because It has a lot to do with the protests going on.
Oh.
And there's protests going on in Barcelona, Chile, Bolivia, most recently.
What about specifically?
Just
What are they protesting?
well, it's different things, but it's kind of the idea, and obviously Hong Kong, which I'm sure you guys have probably heard of. That's kind of seems to be the one that's getting the most attention right now. But for us, it was just kind of more this like spark of how revolution can be good. Like protests can be very constructive. For example, a few years ago, like when South Korea had the giant protests and they overturned the elected president to the current one, who is Moon. And because of that, we now have a better relationship between North and South Korea, which is beneficial for the whole world. And I'm not going to rant for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it's more just how protests can also kind of work against democracy, and I think we're seeing that in places like Bolivia specifically, where it was a military coup that overthrew an elected government. It's also similar to a lot of other things that have traditionally happened in Latin and South America, where U.S. or Western-backed people create this military coup because they need some kind of resource. This case is lithium to create batteries.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I know almost nothing about current events, so I'm like the worst person to talk to. So this is like all brand new. I'm like, what?
No, yeah, and you know,
Me too.
And I think the most important thing that we try and do on our podcast, my last tidbit about it here, is that we try and give historical context. That way, obviously we have our own opinions, but we think it's really important for the listener to form their own ideas and opinions about the event, because I'm sure many times will probably be different than maybe our own opinions, but we just want to really make sure that historical and accurate background is there. That way people can form, their own conclusion that isn't, swayed. I mean, obviously we usually, we'll give people a heads up that this next, when we go into an opinionated tangent, we'll let people know.
Yeah.
Just because, we like to speak our own opinion because it is our podcast, but we also want to make sure that we're giving people context to form their own thoughts.
I don't give people the opportunity. When I give my opinion, I just...
On this podcast?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
All the time.
Okay. All right. Well,
no,
cool.
that sounds
Yeah,
super interesting.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to check that out.
Well, thank you so much for being on thank you so much for being on our podcast. So Andy has his own personal story to tell us, so we're super excited about that. So he's gonna go first, and then I have a story after that. But let's just jump into it. I'm excited.
Okay.
Let's. Yes.
And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a
Our
chance to-
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
My word. We always like people to drink with.
Yeah.
You've been a delight so far.
Yeah, okay. So,
Actually, can we just stop for 1 second and just talk about your cardigan? And
Oh, yeah.
Cardigan and how amazing it is. It has cats all over it.
That's right.
We talked about it downstairs, but I just feel like we need to mention it. Maybe you should take a picture of it.
Yeah.
I feel
before
like
you go.
I
Yeah.
can do
because it kicks ass. I mean, just to be clear.
Yeah, I really like this cardigan. It's really cozy. It says a cat is a cat. It's really cute.
There's like, oh my god, that's a little fishbowl on a cat.
Yeah.
Adorable.
It gets-
God damn it.
The more you look at it, the better it becomes.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed. So, okay, I
We'll
apologize.
post a picture of that for sure. Yes.
It's amazing. Okay, your story. I apologize.
no worries. So, and feel free if you have any questions during the story to ask them.
Awesome.
You betcha.
Okay, so I used to live. So we all live in the same town right now, but I used to live downtown where we live at these apartments. And one night I was going to meet up with someone in the heart of downtown.
So how old were you?
This was 2014. So I was 20 years old.
Okay. Living your best life.
Living my
Being
best
amazing.
life. Just about turned 21. I was just going to go meet up with some friends downtown. And I was just going to take my usual route, which was just pretty much a straight shot. I pass a Safeway and a McDonald's.
Are you walking or driving?
I'm walking.
Oh my god,
Okay.
I know exactly where you are already.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lived right up the street from that. Okay, keep going.
I'm glad you have this visual in mind.
I do.
So I start this walk, and it's pretty late at night. Like, it's a little past midnight.
Wait, what are you doing downtown, like, past midnight? I guess you're 20. I guess.
Goddamn, Caleb, get a life, man.
I was just meeting up with some friends, and I
He
think
was partying and living his best life.
Alright,
We already
probably.
covered it.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, I was probably up to no good, but
Okay.
but yeah, so there I go, and it's my usual route. I mean, I've walked this route thousands of times. And so I pass by the Safeway, then I get to the end of the block, and there's a crosswalk. And at the other side of this crosswalk is this older gentleman, and he's carrying with him what looks like a gym kind of duffel bag.
Okay.
You know, like he's maybe like he's on the move. You know, maybe he's maybe he's homeless. I couldn't really tell.
Is he shady or like?
He has like kind of like a Fu Manchu facial
Really?
hair going on. He
So
looks
shady as fuck.
kind of shady, but I mean, not necessarily like. You know, like, I'm a small person, but this guy, I was just like, you know, he's the person that he's not intimidating.
Right.
He's just kind of like a small, older gentleman walking around in the middle of the night.
You're just gonna cross in the crosswalk
So,
and be done.
I'm just going to cross in our city after about 11 o'clock. It's pretty much dead downtown.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of traffic.
That's true.
So, and that's kind of important to the context of this story, too. So I walk across, but I notice that he doesn't cross the crosswalk. He's just waiting at the end of the other side of the crosswalk, at the corner of that block there. So I cross, and I don't know, maybe he's waiting for someone. But I get over there, and then he kind of signals to me to stop. And I have like my earphones in.
Oh, okay.
I'm like listening to music, just trying to, I'm just walking.
Uh-huh.
And
Just praying no one talks to you. That's what I do when I'm
Yeah.
walking in public.
And usually, when a random person tries to stop me in the middle of the night, most times I'm just going to ignore them and power walk past them. But he seemed like it was... something about him didn't seem intimidating. I don't know what it was. It was just like a gut feeling. So I decided to stop, which was out of the ordinary for me. And he asked me for bus fare.
Okay.
But I'm thinking to myself... it's like midnight. There's absolutely no buses running right now.
We don't even have buses that run on the fucking weekends, let alone after like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, he probably just wants some money, and he was asking for like change or anything ahead of me to get somewhere, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he's gonna take the Greyhound. I don't know. Anyways, and I almost never do this, and the next thing I do is I just reach in my pocket, and I had like. It couldn't have been more than like $3 and like maybe like a bill or two and like some loose change. So I take it out of my pocket and I give it to him, which was just also out of and it was kind of a weird string of out of context things. So, which looking back, I'm just like, I don't know why I made these choices that were outliers for what I would usually do on this routine walk.
Because usually you're like, you have any changes? Like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm such a bitch when it comes to that. Like, oh my god. Well, I got burned. I was so upset. So there was this girl on that same fucking block. That Safeway, I think, is a little bit of a hub, if you will. I just see a lot of folks asking for money right there. But there was this chick, and she was like, ran out of gas or whatever, need to get my kids home.
Oh.
And she was, like 26 or something, and I was just like, she does need to get her kids home. She's right, And so I gave her like $5 or something like that, and then I saw her like a week later with that exact same sign in a different spot, and I was like, she doesn't have fucking kids, or I mean, maybe she does. I don't know, but anyway, I felt burned. She wasn't trying to get out of town with her gas. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, and that's the other thing is that around this Safeway block is that you're completely right. Is that there is a lot of, traffic for like panhandling and stuff like that. So and I am one of those people that most of the time, especially in the middle of the night, I'm not usually one to stop and give someone money. And but I don't know. It was just something
you
about
were feeling generous of spirit.
And it was something about him just wasn't very intimidating, but it wasn't necessarily welcoming either. He didn't have like it was just something, I don't know. So anyways, I give him the money, and he's like really thankful, and he kind of has like I don't really know if it was like maybe it was like an accent or he wasn't all there, but something, he didn't have like your typical,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, exactly. He was just kind of like, oh, thank you. Like, I really need this. Thank you. And he generally seemed like he was very appreciative. So I was just like, yeah, like, of course, like, whatever. I'm going to keep walking now. So I keep walking. And then when I give him the money, and this is really important to the story, is that I see him, like, the crosswalk, the hands flashing, but there's no traffic. So he just walks across the crosswalk. As I get to the corner, I give him the money. He keeps going the opposite way, and I keep going down where I'm going. And, I'm passing by the McDonald's,
Okay.
which is on this new block that I'm on, and then as I'm walking, out of my peripherals, I don't see anything. I am listening to music though, so that kind of kills like any like sound reception I might have. But I'm walking, and then all I see in front of me is like the crosswalk sign goes to walk. So I'm about to cross
the next block.
The next block, exactly. And then I like walk into the street, and like out of nowhere, I just see out of nowhere, like so close to me, out of my peripheral, just like blinding lights. And I realize that I kind of come to the conclusion that it's some kind of vehicle is about to hit me.
Oh my god!
Because I've walked far enough into the street that, it's like, and I knew, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. And if you've ever been in like a really tense situation, I'm sure you've experienced this too, where it seems like 1,000 thoughts go through you in like the span of maybe like half a second.
Yeah. See, that's what I always think is happening whenever we talk about stories, and they're like, no, it was too fast. And I was like, I feel like I would have a lot of things going on in my head.
So I guess what happens, there's 1,000 things going through my head, but I pretty much come to this conclusion that, holy shit, I'm about to get hit by a fucking vehicle right now. But the weird thing is that I didn't see, and I don't know if maybe, in this, looking back on the story, I'm thinking, maybe they had their lights off and then they turned them on when they got closer to me. But like walking to the crosswalk,
I didn't come around the corner or something.
And except so it was on my left side that they were coming towards, and
it's all one-way streets down there.
Exactly. So, and I feel like I would have seen it, but anyways, I feel like I'm about to get hit, and I have this like huge welt inside of my stomach of like uncertainty and unknown and like genuine fear. Then all of a sudden, I feel this grip on my shoulder, and
total goosebumps.
And then I feel myself like I can't explain it, but I just felt like the biggest like something had pulled me back, but almost like something had hit me at the same time. And then, but from the front, not from the side where the car.
Right. So you were like pushed back, and also being pulled back,
and like a pulled, and then. All of a sudden, I'm laying on the ground, and then I see the vehicle that was about to hit me. It was a truck, and it blows through a red light because I
had the walk signal.
Because I had the walk signal, so that was the other thing. So it blows through this red light, and then I see it, and my heart's like going like 1,000,000 miles per hour. And then, anyways, I turn around, and it's the old guy with the Fu Man Chew.
God! I thought he was gonna attack you. That's what I thought it was gonna be this whole time.
No.
He's a savior.
No, yeah. So I turn around, and it's him, and this is the weirdest thing. And then it gets even weirder is that he's just laughing.
What?
He's just like laughing, like ooh. And like,
was that his laugh?
No, I'm like,
it was like that.
I'm not, yeah, and I'm like,
okay.
I'm trying to recreate it in like the most respectful way I
right,
can.
no, yeah.
He had like a very creepy, like kind of like high pitched, like kooky laugh, like think of like Rafiki laugh or something.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like,
yeah.
And then he's there. His duffel bag's on the floor. He's standing there like right next to me, and he just says like, "Oh, that could have been really bad." And he kind of says it like was like, "Ooh, that could have been really bad."
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm like, and I don't know what to say. Like my heart's like racing.
Yeah.
I'm like processing this still, and this old guy with the Fu Manchu is just like laughing maniacally behind me, and then and he goes, "Okay, I gotta go catch the bus now." And then there's a bus stop right in front of that McDonald's, and he goes to the bus stop, and he just sits there with his like gym duffel bag in his lap, waiting for the bus. Now, I didn't know how to process this, so my first thought at the time is that, like,
he's a magical man.
Yeah, and I call it. So
like...
the story is called I call this the father time story because here's the thing, and there's 3 points I want to bring up. The first one is that I saw this man cross the crosswalk past me.
Uh-huh.
And somehow he made it back over to you.
And I walked, and this is a whole block. And it was one of those things where it's like, yes, I gave him money, and yes, he didn't seem intimidating, but still, I'm also one of those people that I'm always kind of like looking around.
Right, making sure.
Especially in the middle of the night,
yeah.
you know? So,
you gotta have situational awareness.
And I saw him cross the crosswalk. So he crossed the block.
Right. Away from you.
Away
you're, like,
from me.
Should be like 2 blocks away from you by now.
We should be about 2 blocks away from each other. And somehow he had come up. And here's the other thing is that the truck was so close to me. In my mind, I thought for sure I would I can't the lights were like engulfing me. Like it was so close that in my mind I thought in that half second I was talking about, I thought, should I jump out of the way? But my body just knew.
It's too late.
Like my instincts all just shut down. It's just I just kind of accepted it. But somehow within that time he was able to move quick enough to grab me and pull me out of the way.
Right.
And then, so that's the first point, is that somehow he
was hella far away, but then was right next to you.
And then, next to me, meaning he was close to me to grab me. And he was it felt like it was a, you come over the shoulder and grabbed collarbone and everything. Okay. It wasn't just like a pinch or something.
Right,
it was
full on.
A full on, almost he could have kept going for a hug even or something.
Yeah.
And then my next point is that I see him and he's just waiting there happily at the bus.
For a bus that's
not going to come. So for about the next 4 blocks, because I'm walking a straight line.
I have hella goosebumps and chills running through me right now. I don't know if I just all down my spine. Yeah. That was someone there to save you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean...
What's your second point?
I know, I'm sorry.
Third point.
No,
Sorry.
Totally fine. No, yeah, is that so I walk in about every half block, I keep turning around. And I swear, I don't know, I was expecting the cat bus from Totoro to come pick him up or something. But I kept turning around because I was scared that maybe he was following me. I don't know, my rationale was just out the window at this point.
Right.
And I kept turning around, and every time I turned around, he was just sitting there, looking forward with his duffel gym bag just in his lap. Just
that's so crazy.
Sitting there. And then finally, eventually, after 4 or 5 blocks, I turned around and, I couldn't really see that far anymore.
Right.
So I just kind of brushed it off and kept going. But then my last point was that, it's a one-way street. Well, it turns into a two-way, but coming in, it's a one-way. In that, I had the whole vision coming up to it, and I just don't know how I missed the vehicle. And that's my other point, is that, and I know I had my headphones in, so that probably... kind of muffled whatever audio sensory I had going on. But visually, especially with the lights, is that it literally felt like I was walking in the crosswalk, then a snap happened, then all of a sudden lights were just within a foot of me.
That's weird. Well, especially because it's so dead, any type of movement, you'd be able to see it really clearly.
Yeah, well, downtown is so, I mean, yeah, I well, and it's all straight lines. It's not this truck has come around the corner all of a sudden.
No,
I mean, you would have seen it from a ways away.
And my only thinking back to it, because it's been a few years now.
I feel like this whole situation is just very magical.
Yeah, no, it's really in the moment, I was just I didn't know what to think of it. But after I've had years to process this story, because one, I've told it so many times, and two, it gets weirder the more I think about it. But my logical conclusion is that the truck turned out of the McDonald's just really quickly.
Okay.
That's my logical conclusion. But
they had their Big Mac and they were ripping out of there. I get it.
Blown through a red light. But then my other thought was that it's unhumanly possible for this old man to grab me and get me out of the way. So I don't know, people call it in the Bermuda Triangle, where they say they skip time.
Yeah.
But my other thought was
it
was after
you're talking to the right person.
So after reading a bunch of Reddit stuff on this, I also have my illogical conclusion is that I somehow blipped in time to the point where the truck that was not on the street was there and the man was also there.
Oh, interesting.
So almost maybe I went back when he was on that point, or forward, and somehow he knew. And I also have a weird, when I think about it, sometimes it kind of freaks me out, and I think, what if I didn't give him the money? I feel like saying this makes me sound like cuckoo, but I'm just if I didn't give this man money for this imaginary bus fare, would I be dead right now?
That's
Maybe.
Interesting.
Maybe. I'm totally yes, you probably would be. No, I just feel I don't know. I feel like this whole situation is just kind of magical. Maybe you're talking to the wrong person. No, but you trusted your gut with the guy.
With the guy.
For sure. I was just gonna, I kind of held off on saying that because I thought the old man was going to bludgeon you. I mean, I thought that was the direction we were headed.
Yeah.
Maybe if I didn't give him money, the story would have been different.
Yeah, you want to be here.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, that's so wild.
That is so wild. That's
I
crazy.
just feel like you got a purpose, man.
Yeah, right?
Or something.
That's a lot to live up to, Michelle. Oh my gosh. Like, you better do something great, Andy.
No, and you know what? Honestly, you may have already done it. No, I just feel like...
It's 2 bands.
Maybe you inspired
Podcast?
somebody,
Yeah.
or maybe you awoke something in somebody else, or I don't know what, but...
It's so weird, like, how
crazy.
just, like, a shoulder can just, like, pull you back. I mean, like, how much force you would have to have.
And that's why every time I play it through my head, it just... Even when I try and take all the logical steps where it's like, well, maybe they came out of the McDonald's parking lot. Maybe I did throw myself back.
I don't think we can bring logic into this.
No,
but
I think it just is.
Yeah, but the point to where he had enough force to bring me back, and like here's the thing is like the car blew through the red light, and sure they weren't going like 60, but they were going like
fast.
Easily 30, 35, and like you know
fast
right there.
enough to do some massive damage to you.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm just thinking it was so close that the lights engulfed me that like
It was so close.
It was so close, and somehow realistically in that time, this is why I call it the Father Time story, is that he, in order for me to get out of the way and for him to pull me out of the way, he somehow time like slowed down or something happened. And but the other part was that, and I mentioned this too, is that I also felt besides the pull, I also felt like a gut push. And that might have been my body instinctively trying to get out of the way too, you know? Because once you're in like fight or flight mode,
like,
your body does weird stuff. But
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That was an excellent story.
That was.
I have a lot to say about it.
Like, I probably would just go home after that. I don't think I could.
Yeah, so what did you do? You just carried on with your evening?
Went downtown and partied.
Oh. That's crazy, Andy. Well, I'm glad you're still here and not injured.
Yeah,
or
me
dead.
too.
No, I'm just like, what if he just popped into existence long enough to save you?
Or he
And
saw
it
the
was
car
like,
coming.
gone.
But I mean, like, even if he saw the car coming, it's not like he had enough time to be like, hey, that kid's still walking. I should, like, help or...
Block away.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it's like, and I was like, this is the other thing, is that, like, he was waiting for the bus, and I swear, like, my body at that point was just like, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see a fucking bus pick him up right now. Like, all logic was out the door.
Yeah.
I know, I'm thinking of Spirited Away when I think it's a train, though.
It's a train.
Oh, yeah.
When she takes off.
But nothing picked him up. He was just sitting there the whole time. So I didn't get that. Like, if something picked him up, I would have been like, okay, he's just some weird magical, like, entity.
I will think that for the rest of my life anyway, so.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Wow. Well, that's a great story, Andy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I'm glad I was able to share.
Well, I'm glad that he didn't kill you, or not kill you, but I thought he was gonna, like, attack you. I thought that was the point of the whole thing, is you were setting it up, and this guy was gonna be a total asshole. He was gonna pull a knife out of that goddamn duffel bag. But no, he ended up being amazing, so thank you.
I wonder what was in the duffel bag.
There's so many questions.
That's true. So many questions. Well, that's good.
Probably a bunch of drugs. He was, like, getting ready to... No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, it kind of reminds me of my Final Destination.
Oh,
car
you did.
thing.
Yes. Did you hear about that?
So
okay.
You want to tell it?
Yeah, I would like to tell it. Thank you very much, Caitlin.
What happened to you? Okay,
I don't care, but it stays with me all the time.
Okay, go for it.
No, so she went in to get sugar for me, which is, I have to buy these 50-pound bags of sugar, like... I buy, I don't know, 50 a week or something like that. I buy a shit ton of sugar. And so I was like, Caitlin, I need more sugar. Please go get some. Obviously, I would like Starbucks while you're out. And so she gets the sugar, and then she goes to Starbucks. And then she's coming back to the house. And she's, well, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but she's stopped at a stoplight, and there's a big truck, utility truck in front of her. And then...
No, I'm just behind him.
Oh, just behind him?
Yeah.
You're not stopped?
Nope. We're
okay.
driving.
Well, anyway, he sort of takes off, and 2 of the ladders come undone and come flying off towards her car. And she had to, like, slam on her brakes, and it was, like, fucking crazy. She comes back to the house and is obviously very visibly upset. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck happened? She's like, well, I almost died. I hope you're happy. And it wasn't quite like that, but it was close.
No, yeah.
But anyway, I'm like scared to death to send her for sugar now.
She still does.
Only once since then.
No, yeah, it was just so, like, we were just driving regular, and, yeah, I don't know. It was just, we were going 35, 40 miles per hour, and then 2 metal ladders just fly off, and I just slam on my brakes, and the coffee just flies all over my car, and I'm just like, I brought you half a coffee.
Did the driver say anything?
He didn't. So all he did, so he went straight and then turned into a parking lot, and I never saw him again, and someone else at the stoplight got up and moved the ladders. Like, I feel like people were thinking I was going to move the ladders because I was right there, and I'm like, I'm not getting out of my car, and I was just shaking, and then he moved the ladders, and I just left. Like, because my car didn't get hit, thank God, but luckily no one was behind me either, but
obviously we both thought of Final Destination.
Right?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
So, that's terrifying.
Right?
I've actually never seen those movies.
You've never seen Final Destination?
Nah, I've seen enough trailers. I feel like I know what it's all about.
Okay.
But
all right.
I've never seen it.
All right, my story. My other story, that was just a bonus.
That was a wild story.
Yeah,
Thank you so
that's
much
a
for
really
telling
great
it.
story.
Yeah.
I'm going to be thinking about that a lot. I'll tell you that right now.
She's gonna, like, write down her notebook, like, her conspiracy theories about it.
I have a lot. I've been watching this fucking podcast. I've talked about ancient aliens like 3 different times now. No, but I do believe, I forget where I read it. That, and obviously it's not, like, proven. Allegedly, kids teleport without realizing it. And
What? I didn't even...
No, this is something... No, and my mom was like, yeah, your brother used to fucking do that shit all the time. And I don't know whether she's just trying to be like, oh, I lost track of your brother, but he would be standing right next to her, and then all of a sudden, within 30 seconds, he would be at the park, like, fucking half a mile away, and maybe a quarter mile. But anyway, like, he was here, and then he's there. And that shit used to happen all the time.
That's funny. Okay, so my story's about Michelle Wilkins.
I don't think you need to look at me when you say Michelle.
Well, because it's the same name. It's, like, cute.
Yeah, so I can be serial killed. Hard pass. Thank you. Oh, I guess she's a survivor.
She's a survivor, yeah.
Okay, Michelle. Michelle Wilkins.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's March 18th, 2015.
Okay.
And she's 27 years old and living in Boulder, Colorado.
All right. If I was going to move to any other state, I think Colorado would be
Why?
it. Well, 1, weed is legal, so
Oh.
I'm on board with that. And 2, it just seems like a kick-ass state. It's very pretty.
Okay, all right.
I've never been, except for to the
Well,
airport, but
Okay,
just
stop talking about Colorado. All right, so...
I can't have tequila ever again. God damn it. Thank you, sir.
Michelle is currently 7 months pregnant.
Oh.
And she was checking Craigslist and
Can
saw...
we have a spoiler alert? And
No.
She stays pregnant?
No.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, just shut up.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So she was checking Craigslist and she saw a post for free baby clothes. So she's like, all right, I'll get some free baby clothes. And so
Okay.
she made plans to meet this chick at her house, which her name is Dinelle Lanes. So I'm going to call her Lanes because I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her first name right, but it doesn't really matter.
Is she our perp in this situation? I guess we don't know.
Shut up, Michelle.
I was going to talk some
You
shit
never
about
ask.
Dinelle.
You never ask about. You just go with the flow. Don't ask about free stuff. Okay.
Andy's never coming back. I can tell already.
So Michelle gets there and they go through the baby clothes. Like, oh, this is so great. And Michelle kept trying, like, okay, I need to go. And Lane is like, kept talking over her, like, oh, but look at this, blah, blah, blah. And then Michelle's like, she thought she was just lonely. Like, she just needed a friend. So she's like, hey, I have some more clothes down in the basement. And Michelle's like, oh, I don't know, but okay, I guess. And,
probably like just to be polite.
Yeah, exactly. So
me, Michelle, would do.
Right. So they look at the clothes. She's like, okay, well, I have to go. And then Lane starts pulling on her sweater and kind of like scratches her. And she was confused about that. She's like, did I have a bug on me? And she's like, oh yeah, I got it. And she's like, okay.
Okay, wait. So They're just sitting there conversing, and then all of a sudden
No, she starts to leave. Like, hey, I'm gonna go now. And she turns to leave, and she grabs her sweater.
Okay.
And, like, as she does it, she kind of scratches her while she grabs her sweater.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, it's just a bug, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna go. And then she starts leaving, and then that's when Lane attacks her. And they start wrestling each other. So they start wrestling, and Lane tries to smother her with a pillow. Michelle knocks that pillow out. She's like...
Fuck yeah, Michelle did.
She's like, no. And then...
Michelle's the hero.
Then Lane smashes a bottle over her head, which also in a different story says a lava lamp. Don't know which one is correct. Either a lava lamp or a bottle. Smashes it over the head using the broken glass or a knife. Again, there's different theories. She stabs her in the neck.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And then Lane starts to strangle her with her hands, and then Michelle falls unconscious.
Okay. So at this point, she has been smothered by a pillow.
Yeah.
Hit over the head with some sort of glass object, and now stabbed in the neck.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
And then strangled.
Okay. Oh, and strangled.
And then strangled.
I apologize, Michelle. I forgot about the strangulation.
Until she's unconscious.
Okay. Good lord.
Michelle regains consciousness, and she realizes she tries to stand. Okay, so she wakes up and she tries to stand up to, like, escape.
Take off.
But she's so weak, and she feels a huge pain, and so she falls down, and she sees she has a big cut across her stomach.
Motherfuck. I see where this shit is going.
So she tries to stand up, and she states, I just felt the blood seeping through my pants, and I could feel my intestines outside my body.
Oh, God.
So
You're a baby anymore.
So she was able to lock the door, and when she turned around, she was able to see her cell phone on the ground. So she made her way to the cell phone and called 911. She said, she cut me, I'm pregnant. Lane, during all of this, she did a few loads of laundry and cleaned up all the mess, knowing that Michelle was still alive. And she called her boyfriend.
I better tidy up.
She called her boyfriend, said that she had a miscarriage, and he got off work and took her and the baby to the hospital.
Okay. So she has been claiming to be pregnant the whole time with her boyfriend, and now is like, I had a miscarriage, but I have this other baby that I've now stolen from Michelle.
Well, she didn't say that, but
this is
pretty
what's
much,
happened.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So once, what happened? So
I hope
she
Michelle fucking comes out and just smashes her face in.
So Lane gets to the hospital and she refuses a checkup.
Yeah, no
They're
shit, because they're like, bitch, you ain't pregnant, and this isn't your baby.
Well, then, yeah, she finally says that it's not her baby. She finally admits it's not her baby.
I'm shocked to hear that, frankly.
Then Michelle actually gets to the hospital, and
oh my God, is it the same hospital? I bet.
Yeah, it's the same day, same hospital.
From across the hall.
Well, sorry. No, she doesn't really remember. She actually wakes up and she saw the clock saying 7:30. She thought it was 7:30 p.m., but it was actually the next day.
Oh,
so
gosh.
she is hooked up with tubes and everything like that.
So she's fighting for her life at this point.
Right.
Okay.
So when she woke up finally, she tried to stay calm, but she had a feeling that
Something
the baby
wasn't
was
right.
not right. Correct.
Aww.
So once her boyfriend, his name is Dan, came in, she asked, is Aurora alive?
Oh my God, is Aurora the baby?
Yes, baby girl Aurora. And no, she did not make it.
God damn it, Caitlin!
Sorry.
Fucking every time. You're the worst.
So,
fucking telling your parents.
Okay, this is the sad part too. So, telling my parents?
Yeah, on you.
Okay. After 2 days, they were able to see Aurora. So they were able to go see her. She states, I just felt her presence so strongly. It was really bittersweet because I could feel her and I could sense her, but I didn't get to hold her like a normal mother, and that's heartbreaking. Aww. I got to dress her, read to her, and sing to her.
Aww.
So Michelle spent 5 days in the hospital, and it took 2 months to make a full physical recovery, but her emotional recovery still had a long way to go.
Yeah, no shit, man.
She suffered from PTSD, but Dan was never away from her side.
Oh, good.
Dan was the strong one, but she could tell that Dan was also struggling too, because that was his daughter as well. So Lane, back to
fucking Dynell. I don't even care if we mispronounce her name or not.
So she had a young son herself, but he died in accidental drowning.
Oh, so she got fucked up from that.
She was desperate to have another child and began to fake a pregnancy. She would post pictures online and said that she had a baby boy, naming him James. As her due date passed, her boyfriend became suspicious since, it's like you should have had the baby already. So he was just like, something's weird.
God, you know what sucks is that's just as fucking heartbreaking.
Right.
Like, oh,
so
God damn it. Now I feel bad for her also.
Well, once the boyfriend was suspicious, that's when the Craigslist ad went up.
That's when she lost her mind.
Mm-hmm. So it did go to trial, so Michelle did have to testify there. You can find her testifying videos on YouTube, actually. And the other witnesses as well. So pretty much the whole trial's almost on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
But Lane she was saying that Michelle had a knife and tried to stab her. They said it was not premeditated. It was just a passion type thing. But, once you put up an ad on Craigslist.
It was, yeah. That feels a little bit more premeditated.
Yeah, exactly. So
she's like, I need to get a baby, so this is, oh, gosh.
So Lane was found guilty of attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree assault, 2 counts of second-degree assault, and unlawful termination of a pregnancy. She was sentenced overall to a total of 100 years in prison.
What? Well, okay. No, I'm glad that she's in prison for 100 years.
Yeah.
But that's not what we fucking see in the majority of these stories.
I know. Isn't it terrible?
That is... so often we find that
justice is not served.
Yeah, these atrocious crimes are on usually against women, and then there tends to be this like, oh well, you'll serve 10 years, and
isn't it weird
it's
that it's
way
man?
Worse? Yeah, and now she has 100 years.
And she's a female. I'm just saying, like
I know. I don't.
I'm not saying.
Saying.
Yeah.
That our justice system is fucked up. That is
so.
exactly what I'm saying. So.
Bring you guys on, you can be guests.
I got a lot to say about that.
There we go.
This podcast was 16 hours.
It's mostly Michelle.
It's all Michelle fucking ranting about the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, after the trial, Michelle took ceramic classes and they started to plan their future together with, Dan and her started to plan their future together. She wants to open an organic farm that also serves as a healing center. So that's pretty much was her goal back in 2016 now. Not much update really in 2019. I think she just pretty much wants her, privacy as much as she
private
can.
Life and
maybe want to heal some more on her own, or she found a center. So, but she made it through and she's still with Dan. So
that's fucked up, man.
Right?
That's devastating.
It is devastating.
I can't even imagine. Wasn't there a story?
There's a recent one. There is the most recent one.
I was a little, I don't know.
2019, this year.
Was there something about like a whole bunch of babies being buried in the backyard?
What?
I'm concerned I'm confusing with a TV show. And
I
that
think
bothers
you
me.
are. I don't think that's like a norm type.
Yeah, I think it maybe was.
A TV show?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
No.
I feel like I would have heard about that.
Probably. And I don't watch much news, and I watch more TV, so it probably was a fucking TV show. God damn it.
Have you heard about a bunch of babies being buried, Andy?
I feel like you would know. You're pretty up on current events, so. Like 5 years ago?
I don't know.
Yeah, it probably was a fucking... I'll try to look it up.
Yeah. The next episode,
it's just
like,
like
I'm right.
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg worked on Willow together when they, in fact, did not. Just George Lucas.
Hey,
I've been
you were
wanting
right
to say this the whole time.
Okay. You're wrong about Willow-ish.
Okay. So I'm assuming Dynell Lane is still in prison. Then.
Yes. Mm-hmm. She sure is.
For the next 100 years.
That's a long time.
I just feel like if a man did that, and this is going to sound completely, I don't know, maybe it's my own chauvinism, but if a man did that, he'd be like, well, you get 10 to 15.
You're not wrong. It also depends on their background, too, especially if
she was
a person of
a
color,
minority of some sort, yeah.
Or poor.
Or poor.
A minority or poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about our prison system and how it
yeah.
just puts down the poor man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked
That's
up, man.
That's a whole nother story.
It is.
Another tangent.
I wanted to ask,
Yes.
did the boyfriend, not Dan, the other one, did he testify at all in the videos?
It didn't say he did. She didn't testify against her. Like, she didn't
She
testify.
chose not to
Yeah, she chose
testify.
not to testify. And I don't think they called any witnesses on their end. I think that's what I read. Well, they didn't have any witnesses. Only, I know her family were saying that she's a loving person and it's just very out of character for her. That's all it said about what the family
She
said.
probably lost her mind a little bit. I mean, in a very real way when she had her first miscarriage.
No,
I mean,
her
that's
kid
completely
drowned.
Oh. My God, I'm fucking sorry. Anyway, losing a child is miscarriage or no. I mean, it's probably the most devastating thing that you can go through.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, this was the first case that Colorado has ever had about someone taking a baby from a pregnant woman, like cutting it out, ever. So, I mean, it's not like I don't know,
a well-known phenomenon that happens.
Exactly. Yeah, not like assault, murder. You know. Like,
yeah.
What was it? Was it termination of a pregnancy? Like a
unlawful termination.
Yeah. I don't think that's very common. No, I don't think it's common really at all. So, luckily, like usually you hear actually the baby survives and the mother passes. Yeah.
I know. I was hoping that the baby would survive.
Yeah.
And you said it was 7 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's just been a little
too early.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be viable.
Yeah, it's still sad, but I mean, at least she made it, and I'm glad that Dan stayed with her because usually that's a thing of separation.
So, yeah, it's just too painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it might have been. I feel like it might have been a thing though that they were already so invested in this child because they had the name for Aurora that it's obvious that he was obviously invested it, that if he, they already had the name, he was obviously totally on board, and I'm sure that it seemed like in this case that when she lost it, she's the one who physically lost it,
right?
But like he was a part of that emotional loss too, and I
think they both lost it.
And it seems like as horrible that maybe having some kind of reconciliation between each other and finding something within that loss, to keep them together through that loss.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
They were saying that they were, once they knew it was a girl, they were excited to buy her first pair of hiking boots because they like to hike a lot. So
sounds like Dan was in it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Aww. I mean, they were just very excited. So hopefully in the future,
most people would be.
Yeah. Maybe in the future, this is a thing they can happen again in their lifetime.
That's sad.
It is super sad. So, I mean,
I wish we had talked about your story second, maybe.
It was a little more hopeful.
Yeah, have, some will to live by the time we take off out of here.
Yeah.
Because it's gone right now. I hope you're happy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's like sad.
If I fall down the stairs on my way out of here, you know why.
Oh my gosh, Michelle. Oh my gosh. I'm going to keep that in. Well, thank you, Andy, for sharing your story.
Yeah.
That was really... It was kind of inspiring. Yeah.
It was inspiring.
It really was.
I mean, I'm not saying you should just give out money to every person at midnight that asks for it.
But you had a feeling. Feeling.
And I think, I think the bottom line of my story is that, if you break your routine, but your instinct is like, do it. Yeah. Maybe do it. Usually, I kind of believe in that like sixth sense. Like animals kind of have that sixth sense. Mm-hmm. Like humans kind of do too, but it's like very untuned or very unaware. But I definitely feel like sometimes, if your instinct is pushing you towards one thing, maybe do it.
Yeah.
You know what? If you were in Beauty and the Beast, you would have given the old woman shelter and never got turned into a beast in the first place. I'm just saying.
That's right.
Where did that come from?
I was thinking about the whole time.
Okay. Well, just like my book says, your gut knows what's up. Trust that bitch. That's right. Trust it. Trust your gut. and stuff. So again, Andy. Wow, that was weird. Oh my gosh.
That's perfect.
I don't know how I said your name. It was so weird. Andy, thank you again. Andy. Thank you for coming on the podcast. And check him out on Sadgasm.
I never want a sadgasm again in my whole life.
Well, now when you do, you think of... Wait.
Oh, no.
I will not.
Never mind. Back it up. Check out Sadgasm or Postrich Bear or his podcast
Vegan Reconstruction.
Thank you.
Not vegan. Reconstruction. Begin.
Yes.
Reconstruction.
With a B as in boy. So check him out. And you can
like, you bitches. I'm done. Fucking out.
So you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram at I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now. Or you can send us your survival story or one that you know at ishouldtotallybedeadrightnow@gmail.com. And we will see you next time.
That's right.
Thank you again, Andy. All right.
Paloma.
Yes.
That's what we had. Paloma.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.